So, story time. Today, I had to stop at a grocery store, and I was standing in line in a pretty long line to get to the self checkout uh, to pay for my stuff, and there was probably like 10 younger men, like in their 20s, maybe 30s at the most, that weren't from this country, I'll say. You could tell they were from somewhere else. And they looked nervous, like they were all like talking and serious, like in another language, but they were serious about whatever they were saying, and it was weird. Like, I noticed it, and some other people noticed it, and we were kind of just, I was standing there and I was kind of watching it. And then another guy that looked like he was probably from where they were from came out from behind me from an aisle in a uniform, a military uniform, and this was no military uniform that I've ever seen before. It, it looked like something, it looked like he bought it out of a costume store or something. But where I'm from, I see there's an Air Force base here, so I see people from the Air Force and all kinds of stuff all the time in uniform, and this didn't look right, and it was just weird. And I looked around, and I noticed that a lot of the people that were checking out, they didn't have much in their carts, and there were guys there that were working there that thought they were females, and I'm standing there looking at all this, and I know it's Memorial Day's coming up, and I'm like, man, I wonder if something odd might happen. But if that would have happened to me, say back in the 90s, 20 years ago, whatever, I would have looked around and I'd have said, let someone like that try. They'll never get it done. But today, when I was standing there and that thought come to my mind, and it could have been, I have no idea what them guys were talking about. They could have been fighting over a box of Kleenexes. I don't know. But it was odd, and it was odd that guy was in that weird uniform. And it just made me think, like, this weekend's Memorial Day weekend, if something like that happened, and I looked around, and the way that America is just beaten down right now. Right now would be the perfect time for those guys to do their thing, because this country, the citizens of this country, look at what's going on in the world today. There's so many people still supporting these guys right here, and I mean, it's absurd for anyone to still be supporting what they're doing over there. We're 8 months past October 7th. It should have stopped a long time ago. They don't need to be just be over there carpet bombing everybody in sight right now. So right now, I need you to understand that what ISIS-Rael is exactly what the Most High told us it would be in His Word. He said that she would be a threshing floor in the time of her end. Everything about her, it fits to a T to the image of the beast, all that stuff. Just think about it. Like, that group, or whatever you would call them, that lobbyist group that comes from over there, that starts, it's AIPAC, those guys, they just said they were giving $100 million to the politicians. We've heard so many stories how these politicians are bought off, and And we see that, so that you can see how the skirt to that whole deal is being lifted, because a clear genocide is taking place, horrible atrocities, and these people who claim to be these good-hearted Christians are bloodthirsty, acting like bloodthirsty animals right now. And you can clearly see why, because of the dollar bills, y'all. That's what it's about, because of the millions that they're putting into their pockets. So that's the whoring that we're seeing, that whoring of all the nations. And we're seeing the skirt being lifted, but we're also seeing people step back for fear of her torture. We're seeing that take place in real time. Don't you think it's kind of odd that the Most High, everything he's been showing us is about that place, and soon as he's been showing us, it's been, all this stuff's been happening to it as he's been showing us about her in the Word and in so many other places? Well, check this out. You remember how you guys thought I was crazy, right, when I was talking about the Twin Peaks television show that came out back in the 90s? And I told you that it was about our true home, our true Jerusalem. Remember how you guys thought I was crazy? Well, this is going to tell you right here that I wasn't crazy. That's exactly what this show's about. And it's more proof that all the Word, everything I've been telling you about your true home is true, and you best get to it. You best get here soon. You can see that there's the clock's a ticking, and there's not much more time. Everything we've seen about the 24 indicates that it's going to go down, and we've been hearing it. I just heard on the news the other day that in one of them meetings that Russia had, some people of Russia had with like China or something, they said that they heard that their great plot, their plan was to take place on the in the year 2024. So it's going to come suddenly, and if you're caught with your pants down way on the other side of the map, you're going to be screwed. That door's going to be shut. But watch what this article that I just found today says. I just found this today, but look what day they put it out. On April 8th, on 4/8, on the day of the eclipse, they put it out. Go figure. AI deciphers Twin Peaks, a deep dive into the cult classic. Now, what do you think it's going to say? Watch. On its 34th anniversary, we know about the 43. We were punished for 430 years. A slave, you can't work him no more than 42 years. On the 43rd year, he's a free man. That's what this 43 is all about. That's why the golden rod that went around America, and I don't know if it still is. No, it ain't. If they say it's going to in the future, but it parked at its home, the article said, in Utah, and it was 43 foot long. It was the golden measuring rod, guys. Wake up. Look, on its 34th anniversary, David Lynch's Twin Peaks has captivated audiences with its blend of mystery, surrealism, and the exploration of the human psyche. Its rich tapestry of characters, intricate plot lines, and iconic quotable lines are still remembered. More importantly, the intense discussion on what the meaning of the show is still hotly debated, given this history. Twin Peaks is a prime candidate for AI analysis. I told you, there's all kinds of channels and websites made where people sit and talk about this show, and they can't figure out what it's about. And remember what I told you it's about? That's what it's about. Look at the mountain right there. See the mountain? Look. That's my mountain. That's the mountain right there. That was one thing I saw, but watch what it's about. It's about everything I told you it would be about. Watch. Using a few different Gen AI tools, let's dive into how artificial intelligence interprets the themes, symbols, and narratives structures of this seminal television show. This AI got it. They got it right. Watch this. AI, or at its core, Twin Peaks revolves around the question, who killed Laura Palmer? I told you, Laura Palmer represents Yasharal, the bride. the children of the Most High, in their youth, when we were married to the wife of our youth, to Yerushalayim, when we came home after the first Exodus, that's who Laura Palmer represents. Just like Furiosa, that's who Furiosa represents. Watch. So it revolves around who killed Laura Palmer. An AI trained in narrative analysis and crime fiction could approach this mystery by examining character interactions, timelines, and motive constructs. However, AI also suggests that the answer to Laura's death is a red herring. Direct the viewers to deeper inquiries about the nature of good and evil, baby. See? Told you. It's all about that tree. And the facade of the idyllic American town. Boom. In fact, one AI system even wonders if the real question of the show is, who was Laura Palmer? You see? You see how, and this is how the word is. The word is, it's like a chess game. It's there's levels to it, and the majority of the world are reading the word like the majority of these, or all these people that watch this show, watch that show. They're looking at it at surface level only, and they can't. You can't read the word that way. You can't, and like I told you, all these movies, how many movies have I showed you? How many televisions have I shown you? How many books have I shown you? Articles, everything. The whole world's talking about this. And if you don't know about it, you've missed it. But it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. This is all about Yerushalayim and coming home. That's why you're seeing what you're seeing go on over there in the Middle East and everything you see. Because the skirt's being lifted, our eyes, the Most High's making it clear as a bell to us, to anyone who's really wanting to look, of who that place is and what we need to do and where our true home is. You can find your true home, and I've found more than enough evidence to prove to you where it is. That's what this show right here is all about. The double life. AI's take on duality. See? And what were we seeing in the beginning as I was learning who the image of the beast was? We were learning about how they think, how they see duality, how it is. It's like the yin yang sign, just like I told you. Remember, if you've been paying attention, if anyone is around hearing this right now, and you've been around for the last year and you've been paying attention, you know that's what we've been talking about. I told you that's what the show is about. Twin Peaks itself is a name that evokes duality. It is. It's the mountain. In the back is the same as the front. That throne looking piece in the front is called Lone Peak, but there's a miniature one in the back called Twin Peaks right on the mountain called Mount Baldy. And then if you're looking at the throne, if you're at the throne looking off into the valley down to Yerushalayim on your right, that peak is Thunder Peak. And the trail coming up to that peak is called Jacob's Ladder. Yes, it is. You better go figure it out. Check it out. So it evokes duality, a theme Lynch obsessively explores. Yeah, every one of his shows is about this. All that he talks about is about this. All the Lord of the Rings, that's what it's about. All these people that wrote all those books and stuff, they're all thinking about the same thing, and they're talking about the same thing. The two towers, that's what it's all about. That's what the Twin Towers represented in New York. That's why they took it down 19 years ago. But something tells me that it's the 24-year cycle is what they had in mind. 19 years later, we got the CV-19. But it's the 24 and the 23, I think, that you need to take a look at. And 23 is when it happened. That's when that unexpected eclipse happened, just like on the movie Little Shop of Horrors. Get it? Little Shop of Horrors. That's what that whole movie's about. That's what opened my eyes to it, was when I watched that movie, parts of that movie, Little Shop of Horrors, and thought about what it was saying. Yep. The AI systems identified that almost every character harbors a secret life or an alter ego, just like I told you. And it's all about the whole town's committing adultery. From Laura Palmer's split between Homecoming Queen and Troubled Soul to Agent Cooper's good versus evil struggle, and Dale Cooper, and it's crazy. I ain't even gonna tell you the part about Dale Cooper, because no one's gonna believe this. Like we just seen the other day, the Most High told you. He said, in the end, I'm making a work that you just won't believe it. If you were told, you ain't gonna believe this. And that's what's happening right now. And the only way out is to believe it, and to that, once you believe it, once you see that it's happening, you'll understand that your deliverance is sitting right here, just like Messiah talked about when he said about Abraham's bosom, and just like Enoch talked about, your paradise awaits. When you realize the image of the beast is what I'm telling you it is, and it is, you can turn around, do a 180 and look back to the west, and you'll see that's why all these wars happened. That's what Columbus was about. That's why the conquistadors, the Spanish people come over here. That's why all this stuff's going on. And I've proven it. And I've shown you all the evidence of the people being here, our people, Yasharal, and that they were here, and that they hid all the evidence. That's what the Smithsonian, all them did. I've shown you guys so much stuff. You guys need to be doing backflips on here. Your deliverance is sitting right here for you, and you won't take it. For fans, Lynchian-style art, duality in Twin Peaks isn't just a theme. It's the very fabric of its universe. Through semantic analysis, AI revealed how these dualities contribute to the show's central theme. See, the AI knew it, because all it takes is to pay attention. And if you know the word, if you're paying attention to the word, when I seen this show, I saw things about it that lined up with what the word was showing me. And so when I started to read, I went to the Wikipedia page for the Twin Peaks. I got it on videos. If you've been paying attention, you know what I'm talking about. We went and looked at it and read the plot to all the episodes, the titles of the episodes. It's all there. It's all here. And the enemy's just sitting laughing at all these believers that are out here doing all this stuff and don't know and don't realize it. That, look at how many believers right now are sitting there cheerleading the image of the beast. Yeah. Most people that watch that show, Twin Peaks, they think that that's just about somebody that killed Laura Palmer. But it ain't. Right now, this is how the Most High is trying you, okay? We're all supposed to follow the Lamb, the golden rule. We're supposed to have a home, one shoulder, one unity, in unity, one unit, you know? And he created this trap, this snare, because if you're not really in love with him and trembling over his word, you'll buy that snare, and you'll go over there and you'll be like these people that are sitting here fighting over, because they support them, because they believe they're God's holy people, and they're biased towards that. They don't care what they do. There's nothing that them people can do that's going to change their mind, most of them. And they say they're doing that because they believe that that's God's holy people or whatever. But if they would just open up the Bible, where they get the whole concept of the Most High in the first place, where he's found is in his word, if they'd open it up, they would see that they are standing in the big trap, the big snare. And that's how it had to be. That's how it is. That's how all this word's told us it is. And if you just think about it, that's how it would have to be. There should be no more treasures stored up in the house of the wrongness. You have the word, the house of wrong. You have the scripture in your hand, right? You can read it just like I do. I can. And it tells you about this trap and this snare. So if you really love him and you really want to be in the family, he put this all kinds of information. I've shown you. I was just talking about. Look at all the information I've displayed on here. It's been on full display. More than you could think of to ask me for. So if you really loved him, you would examine and you could do it yourself. You could have found all this that I found. So, of course, there's going to be all kinds of people fighting over this trap and bitching about it and not have a clue that it's the trap because they're just a bunch of hypocrites. They're posers. They're pretending to love and serve the Most High, but the proof will be in the pudding. And the Most High, he's not going to sit and sort everyone's feelings out. He's told us he gave us the blueprint. He told us what to do. And if you love him, if you're about that life, then that's what you'll do. But we got all kinds of people wanting it both ways, don't we? What did we read? Revelations chapter 2 last time. Let's get chapter 3. And to the messenger of the assembly in Sardis write, he who has the 7 spirits of the mighty Most High and the 7 stars says this, I know your works, that you have a name, that you are alive, but you are dead. Wake up and strengthen what remains and is about to die, for I have not found your works complete before the mighty Most High. Your works, not how good of person you've been, not how many people you've prayed for, not how many people you think you've led to the Lord. No. All you're supposed to do is come in and come out and bring the first fruits into the house. Love him. Follow the Torah and the instructions. That's what you're supposed to do. And they are complete when you're just like the sun and the moon. They're in their orbit. They complete their orbits. We're supposed to complete our orbits. That's what Enoch is all about. Remember then how you have received and heard, and watch and repent. If then you do not wake up, I shall come upon you as a thief, and you shall not know at all what hour I come upon you. Nevertheless, you have a few names in Sardis who have not defiled their garments, and they shall walk with me in white, because they are worthy. He who overcomes shall be dressed in white robes, and I shall by no means blot out his name from the book of life, but I shall confess his name before my Father and before his messengers. He who has an ear, everyone, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies. And to the messenger of the assembly in Philadelphia write, he who is set apart, he who is true, he who has the key of David, Daoud, he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens, says this. And that door, that's the reason. Look, check this out. The whole reason for Passover was to point us here in this end time, in this great time of refining. It's the greatest time to be alive. In this great hour, and we're in this hour of this threshing floor that the image of the beast is right out here in broad daylight. It's all going down, just like the Bible said. In the second Exodus is happening. That the whole reason Passover. It was to get us in this end time. It was to point us home. The reason they put the blood on the door, okay, and they went into the house. They ate all the lamb. They were suited and booted with cane in hand, strapped tight, ready to rock and roll, and their bags were packed. And they got on the highway, okay? The blood over the door. The Messiah has opened this door for us. He was the firstborn from the dead. He showed us how to walk, that we ought to do the desire of Yahuwah, our mighty Most High, our Father, his Father. And that's coming in and coming out, just like he's always told us. But we have to do it with love, not to make a profit, not to be better than the next guy or gal, not to be a boaster of material things and to be prideful, and to boast on what we have or our achievements more than the next person. Our boasting is to be in what the Most High has given us. And we get that coming in and coming out. That's what we boast in him, his righteousness. That's following the Lamb. And your feet have to literally move to Mount Zion in order for that to take place. That's that door. That's why they put the blood on the doorpost. That's why it's called the key of David. David, the city of David, the house of David. It's the key to his door, to his house, to come home, to where the throne is, to sit down. I know your works. See, I have set before you an open door, and no one is able to shut it, and no one can. All you got to do is come take it. That you have little power, yet have guarded my word and have not denied my name. See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Satan who say they are Yahudim. Let's just hit the compare button so everyone sees who we're talking about. Let me get my little tool out here too. Those who say they are those guys. You see that? Let me get it a little better. Boom. Those guys. Those who say they are Yahudim and are not, but lie. See, they're the congregation of Satan, and I've proven that before. That star on their flag, that is the same as a Baphomet. That symbol is the same symbol for what they're expressing, as it expresses the same language, the same words. It tells you the same thing that the Baphomet tells you. It is a Baphomet. And then it's also a mountain, like the mountain of the Most High, looking in the mirror at itself. Duality. They teach the Kabbalah. That's that star. That's the Kabbalah. That represents the Kabbalah tree that they all follow, those people over there, and a lot more other people. They follow, and it's got the whole world doing it, whether they realize it or not. It creates pride. It's about, well, I've been this good of a person, I've saved this many people, I've done this, so I'm God now. Go look it up. And I've broken it down so many times. I've been doing that this whole time for years, showing you guys about that tree. And that's where you have to start in order to see all this. And we learned that too. We've learned that's where a person has to start. They have to open their eyes up to the tree, to what it is about, before you can even see all this stuff. And that's what happened to me. Just in that order. So I'm blessed, yes. And it's just because I've been hungry and I've been reading this word. It ain't because I'm better than anyone else. I was more thirsty. You can say that, yes, for this truth, for this word. And I wasn't as thirsty for the dollar bills. Now I don't care. Now I want this word. I want to live by the Most High's word alone. I'll eat just enough to sustain me. I want to read. I want to know the truth. I want to take my crown, my reign that the Most High, the Messiah, tells us about. This is what's happening, guys. There's been a duality. There's been that yin-yang sign. That's what all this has been about. Go watch I Pet Goat too. You'll see. This has all been about that carved image, that idol that the world has made, that the Chaldeans made and offered to the world, and the world's bowing down to it in one way or the other. But a lot of these believers who say they believe in the Messiah, they're swinging from the necktie, baby, on those guys. There ain't nothing that them people can do. They're murdering thousands of little babies over there, and they're still smacking the pom-poms together over here. Worldwide. And you can see all these countries, these leaders and stuff, the reason they're doing it's because of the money. So it's that whoring, and it's the nakedness of her shame. The Most High's lifted the skirt all the way. The windows are wide open. There's no blinds on the window. We're seeing right in there to what they've been doing this whole time, and who they are, what they're about, and what they aim to achieve. We should all know. No one's stupid to this, but you see where everyone stands on according, everyone's taking their stand, with either whatever side, but you can see what their motives are, their reasoning for doing it. And most people, most of these believers, it's because of prideful, materialistic things, Babylonian things that this world is about. And look, he says, see, just as much. When he says see, you need to think about right here what he's saying. And that goes for all his word. But when he says see, especially, I am making them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. That right there, once you get reading this and seeing what I'm talking about, you'll understand that that's like a little wink wink letting you know how this is gonna look. That it's in a completely different place, location from where the world thinks the Holy Land is. They're gonna come. They're gonna know. In the end, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, this was the image of the beast. That place over there is our true home." And we were right there. There's going to be people probably like no ways from here, 100 miles from here, that are going to realize that they could have did this, and they refused it because they were biased, because they pledged their allegiance to these people who say they're Yahudim. They lied to them. That indicates that people bought this lie, that there are people who believe those people are that they are Yahudim. But they weren't. They were lying about it. They were actually the congregation of Satan, and that fits the bill to a T to them guys over there, and I've proven it. Because you have guarded my word of endurance, I also shall guard you from the hour of trial which shall come upon all the world to try those who dwell on the earth. Well, we all dwell on the earth. I mean, that's everybody, right? You're being tried right now. This word is trying you. The words told you to follow the Lamb, the golden rule. For the Torah to be your desire, the Most High's will to be your desire, your delight. That's what the words told us. And anything else it leads to death. So, I mean, everyone's going to be held accountable for their own works, their own actions. See, I am coming speedily. Hold what you have, that no one takes your crown. Your crown, you get it in Jerusalem. He who overcomes, I shall make him a supporting post in the dwelling place of my mighty Most High. See? And he shall by no means go out. See? And that lets you know, like, every once in a while when I joke and when I'm trying to tell you guys you need to come in and come out, and I tell you that I'm not going out, see? That confirms that all the more. He shall by no means go out. I don't have to go out. So I'm here. I'm like that tree planted next to those living waters, baby. And I'm not moving unless the Most High removes me. And I shall write on him the name of my mighty Most High, and the name of the city of my mighty Most High, the renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of the heaven from my mighty Most High and my renewed name. We need to pause right here, my family. Verse 12 confirms everything I've been saying to you. And it confirms, if you've ever considered, if I am telling the truth, and you've thought, man, maybe I should listen to him, maybe I should look into this and just hear him out. If you've ever thought that, this verse 12 is gonna confirm to you that, yeah, you're right. You should have heard this out. You should listen to this message. Because look, we know when the name of the Most High is written on your forehead, that doesn't mean that you're gonna get tattooed, my friend, okay? That means that when I'm talking to you, I'm gonna clearly know if you love Abba. When you're talking to me, what do I talk about? I talk about Yahuwah, don't I? And what else have I been talking about? I've been talking about that city. It's been written on my forehead too, hasn't it? It has. A supporting post. And I'm here. And you can have this too. Come get it. It's what it's about. This end is going down just like that. The end is that the whole world has been lied to, yes, but the Most High wouldn't just leave us to die. He gave us the truth, the proof. And if you want to live, if you read the proof, you'll get to live. But if you don't, you die. And in the end, that proof of our home that he told us in the end that the truth of our home would come out and come to light in the end, and we would realize it, and we would have the opportunity, that door that's open and no one can shut, to come home, the second Exodus, and take joy in our portion a second time. No one can shut that door, but no one's going to drag your ass through it. And the world don't want to go through it right now. But if you can, and you can do this, best believe you're sitting down in the kingdom, you're taking your crown, and you didn't let no one take it from you. Look at the city's going to be on their head. The name of the city, which comes down out of the heaven. The name of the city comes down out of the heaven. Listen, out of the heaven from my mighty Most High and my renewed name. Think about this, my people. Listen to what he's saying. And I shall write on him the name of my mighty Most High, Yahuwah, and the name of the city of my mighty Most High, the renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of the heaven from my mighty Most High and my renewed name. This will confirm to you that I ain't been lying to you about the heaven means the word. It doesn't mean the sky. Okay, if we took the last part and my renewed name off, if we take that off for a second and we read, which comes down out of the heaven from my mighty Most High, then yes, then you could say, well, okay, maybe he's saying that the city's going to come down out of the sky. But listen to the last part that is on there. It comes from the Most High, and it comes from the Messiah's renewed name. That's where the New Jerusalem comes from. And what's his renewed name? We're going to see it, but I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. It's the Word. The truth. That's what it is. And it tells us here in a little bit. It's written on his thigh. And the thigh represents where the word should be. Everyone needs their Bible on their thigh, reading it. That's why it's on the thigh, I assure you. So, the new renewed Jerusalem, the name of it will be, the people who live, the name of it and the Most High's name will be written on their forehead, not literally. But they'll be sounding about like me. Take it or leave it, my friend. And it comes from the Most High, and it comes from the Messiah's renewed name. And that's that renewed song that's in the Word. It's of the Lamb and of Moses. It means to follow the Lamb, come out of Egypt and Babylon and all that. One by one, though, not all together. He told us that. Like Moses, come out. Remember all those things, those deeds, those wonders that the Most High did, and do it again. But this time with a little bit of a little twist, because we're in the end, we're in that greatest time ever to be alive, baby. It's going to be a little different, but it's the same concept. We're going home. I'm here. I'm on the mountains. My feet are standing on these mountains. It's more than you could possibly imagine. It's everything that you could ever dream of and more. And I can only imagine what it's about to be, what it's going to be. And I don't want to imagine what it's going to be like anywhere outside these borders, where the Most High told me that it's going to be a death, a winepress of the wrath outside of the city. Yeah. So, he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies. And to the messenger of the assembly in Laodicea write, the absolutely the trustworthy and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the mighty Most High, says this. The beginning of creation. Creation. I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I would that you were cold or hot. So because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I'm going to vomit you out of my mouth. Because you say, rich I am, and I am made rich. Do you say that? Do you say you're rich? And need none at all. Do you say you don't need to come in and come out? You don't need to be blessed? That you're fine where you are? You don't need to listen to all this mumbo jumbo? And do not know that you are wretched and pitiful and poor and blind and naked. I advise you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, so that you become rich, in white garments, so that you become dressed, so that the shame of your nakedness might not be shown, and anoint your eyes with anointment, so that you see. If you'll see that the true home is here, and that you must come in and come out. If you see that, humble yourself, and you say, no, I am poor. Yeah, I might have all these buildings and churches and following and money and cars and clothes, but I ain't got a true home. And that's where the power is. That's where we must go, the dwelling place. If you can do that, you're not naked. Right now, everyone's bucket naked, and they don't even know it. As many as I love, I reprove and discipline. So be ardent and repent. See, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I shall come into him and dine with him. Dine. Wink, wink. Eat and drink. And he with me. To him who overcomes, I shall give to sit with me on my throne, as I also overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies. The Messiah went to Jerusalem. He picked up his stake. He spoke the truth. He stood for what was right. He only was about doing the will and the desire of the mighty Most High. And it ruffled tons of feathers, and it twisted plenty of panties. Yes, it did. So much so that it cost him his life. But he had to be in Jerusalem to have Passah. That's what it was all about. Well, read Mark 14, 15. You need to smash that flask of that expensive perfume. You need to give everything you have to do this, to see this through, to pick up your stake and follow him in order to overcome. And if you can't do that, you do not overcome. Sadly. But the rules are the rules. I don't make them. I just proclaim them.